Thank you, Priyanka ma'am, firstly for introducing me. Hello everyone, myself Janvi Galrani. And in today's webinar, we'll be understanding about the 7 technical analysis secret that every trader sort of misses out, and they are not actually figuring out like where they are going wrong. We are going very basic. We are understanding very basic understanding of the technical analysis of the stock market, and overall we are going to move in a better way, like the whole process. So I'll just switch off my camera and then we'll start with the webinar. Okay, so as you can see, this is the first page of the PPT, which says 7 technical analysis secrets that every trader misses. Learn the hidden tactics used by the consistently profitable traders. So I've done some of the research, and maybe like I can say that in the past few days, I have gone through with some communications with our users, and they have came out telling that they were missing out some of the part, and they did not understood this part, or maybe they were confused about the basics of it itself, like the new users, or you can say the new traders who have joined, or maybe the old ones also. Somewhere they misses out the basic rules or basic understanding of technical analysis. So right now I've slide. Now, in the second slide, as you can see, here's the content of us, which states why technical analysis matter, the hidden importance. So basically, first I'll go through you with the why it matters, why we should use technical analysis to understand our support resistance, your levels for profit and everything. So that will be done. Then we will proceed with the 7 secrets that every trader misses. So in that 7 secrets, I've listed 7 main secrets that are important for one to understand, and basic ones, which will deep dive into it and we'll understand with some of the examples. How to apply the secrets practically. So I've listed some of the stocks. I've made a group which we can actually follow to understand where the supports are, where the resistance are, and how the 7 secrets which I have defined earlier are working into this particular charts. Then we will see key takeaways and checklists. So that will be the question answer part, and we will understand going through with all of that part. So I'll proceed further ahead. Now, why technical analysis matter? As you can see, this is very plain. This is a very plain, you can say, PPT slide, which is explaining you by the image itself. I don't have to much explain you like what the images are telling you and what they're defining you. As you can see on the left hand side, it is known as the cluttered chart. As you can see, there are many indicators which are applied on that chart, and there are too many noises which are taking place into that chart. So here also you can see that there is 3 different averages on the chart with signals on the chart, and then there is RSI, then there is MACD, and then there is volume. So as a trader who is trading into an intraday trade, or maybe like a positional one, so positional one you do get a sort of a time period, but for an intraday trader, like what they are actually looking and how much they are going to focus on each of the steps is the major part when we come out and tell you that keeping your charts over here. So now you can see in the left hand side, you are able to see there are 3 different averages with signals and all of the RSI, MACD and everything. So are they defining you to you, or are you able to understand the process, like where the signals are getting generated? It's very clustered, or you can say it's very confusing where your signals are getting generated and how you can participate if you are doing an intraday trade. So simply the word says it is a noisy sort of chart, and it does not give you the right sort of zones, and there are too many signals, or too many you can say too many noises are there in the first chart. Whereas if I go for the second chart, you will get the clear view of what is happening. I can see that my 2 averages are giving me a cut. There has been a gap up opening. There has been a good upside movement, and there has been a reversal from last 4 days. I can see clearly the patterns, what are happening. And then I can go for the upper side, and I can see a nice continuation of the upper side has gone through, and then there is a reversal for the downside that that is also very clearly seen. And also I can see my volumes, where the volumes are standing. There are good amount of volume standings on the chart. So it is making me understand, yes, this is more like confusion. There are three averages, which one to follow, which one to see. And then there are only two averages with the volume and no signals as such, and but it is giving me a clear view as of it. So for the base, we do not really start with understanding what the indicators are and what they're actually doing, but we start with the basic understanding of your candles, of your charts, of your support and resistance, of your volume, giving respect to all of this four pointers that I mentioned. You have to go through with that base, and then you go ahead and see what is actually working out for you. Okay, now we move to the third slide, which says the common problem. Now, what are the common problem basically we are facing, and what is basically happening over here? As you can see, again, there are two charts on the right hand side that I have listed. Then on the left hand side, there's a write up which says there are pointers. So the pointers go ahead with, like most traders, no technical analysis, but not a deeper principle of it. So basically, you do know the technical analysis, but when we talk about the deeper understanding, would be talking about the levels, talking about the candles formations, what they are defining to you. We don't really see that as such, like fully deeply into it. We just see where my averages are standing, what the zones are getting created, and there is no more correction that we can actually see, like, okay, there is a formation that has happened for like one candle, and then there is a closing that is done above that candle. I can expect a good zone could be there because there is a continuation, or I can see a zone is getting created. So that is what, like, the common problem, or like deeper principles that we're not following enough, or maybe like we're not neglecting that part. Then we come to basically then there is applying indicators without understanding the purpose. Like, which indicators are you applying? Do you actually know what they define or what they're actually indicating to you? Have you gone through, like, with an indicator that could be basically your RSI, or like could be your moving average? They could be defining a lot part to you. Like, basically, traders majorly look for like the overbought and oversold zone. That is the major main part that they always focus on. If they are crossing 60, then they will see a movement. If they are crossing downward 40, then they'll see a zone that can be created. But what is the actual understanding behind that indicator is also important. So most of the time what we do is we neglect, and we are using with, like, okay, there are 60 people using the same indicator, there might be something about it, let me also follow the same. So we go ahead with the whole part that, okay, even they are following, I should also see, but not actually understand what suits you better. Maybe like one indicator which is not which could be suiting to someone else but not suiting to you. So applying that indicator and not understanding where the zones are getting created could be a normal or a bigger problem for your trading journey, for the base of it. And then if you are getting understanding of it, yes, I know this average is working well for me, this gives me the right indication, I know what this average actually defines me, I can see my signals will be, or the chart can be telling you a story, like what is happening in the particular stock. So it is very much known as the chart is an emotion, or the stock market is an emotion, and it works according to that period only. So as a human emotion, it fluctuates from up and down. There are situations similar happens in the chart also. There are emotions where it goes on the upper side and then it comes to the downward side. So all of this comes to a part where, if you have been understanding a particular chart with your proper intentions and going through with it, you will deeper level of understanding you will get through the whole chart, or the whole process of understanding technical analysis. Now, again, the third point is very much evident, like overloading chart with multiple conflicting tools. So basically conflicting tools, again, similar coming to that part, is keeping signals and using various sort of, like, when I talk about conflicting tools is also where I want to highlight that we are not sticking to one particular setup or one particular strategy. We are always hopping to one another and then another. Like we always believe in like what is happening around us, what people are talking about, and not we don't focus on what is actually happening. And the major part we neglect is if we don't see what is happening around us and through our eyes, will not be able to, like, you won't understand the process unless and until you actually get into it. Like हाँ मैंने जो देखा वो सही है, but जो मैंने सुना वो गलत हो सकता है. Like sometimes that could also affect a lot in the trading cell, because I've been, like, the last few days I've been having a conversation with one of my clients, and they've been saying that they took a trade into this particular stock, but then they took a trade on behalf when someone actually did the analysis and they said it to them. But what is their lookout? What did they see into the chart? What they reflected into the chart? What the chart reflected to them is also matterable. If you're putting your money, maybe even 10 rupees into one particular part, you should value that particular thing. And this is where the whole situation is where we come down and we fall a lot. And that's why most of the traders in the stock market right now are making losses, due to not understanding the basis, due to not understanding the normal common things, ignoring market context, basically what market is actually telling you, trend, volume, higher time frames. So higher time frames definitely give you a lot of understanding. In the further secrets, we will discuss the time frame part also, where small time frames will give you the indication of entry exit, like the signals for it, but higher time frame will tell you a lot about like what is happening. I can stay into this particular part or I can still continue with it. That is what we're going to discuss in the further session. Then the last point is blindly following tips or signals group instead of their own analysis. Like I discussed in the earlier part itself, following the tips and not actually following your own analysis. And that is where we sort of ended up lagging a lot, and we sort of end up making a lot of losses. And due to which we always don't take, like, we lose interest into the market also. So now I will follow ahead, like the next slide. The next slide will start with actually secrets. So the first secret is price action first and then indicator later. So as you can see, again, I have listed down few of the bullet points, which says, sorry, price tells the story first, support, resistance, and trend. So basically, normal chart, even if I go back to my previous screen, you can see the price is telling you a lot of story, what is happening on the chart. If you keep your support and the resistance level ahead with over here, it will make you understand more with what is exactly happening. And whereas if I put on keeping indicators, it will keep on making me confused, like where the zones are going on and how I can make my entry into this particular stock, how I can go ahead with it. So your price and your levels, demand and supply levels, you can say, are always the most important part. You have to start giving respect to your price, your candles, and your support resistance level, which is the major part of this whole understanding of technical analysis, making you understand in the webinar. That is my main purpose. Now, if I go ahead, the second point indicates is indicator confirms, not predicts. They confirm your trend, where it is going and how it is going, but they do not predict what is going to happen in the future. You cannot predict anything that is happening right now. कि अगर मैं आज समझो एक trade ले लेती हूँ, and then कल I can expect it can jump around like 10 to 15% directly. If there is no signals or there is no understanding of it, you cannot expect a stock to actually perform for you. So indicators will confirm, but it won't predict the zones for you कि हाँ आगे चल के यही हो सकता है. This is the only possibility that will happen. And majorly for due to that reason, they are also sometimes a lagging indicator. They lag price actions, they lag a lot of things. They are just giving you a confirmation that yes, there is a zone, but always rely on price action first. The third part is candlestick pattern structure. I mean, if you give basically candlestick patterns also a lot of importance, that will also give you a lot of understanding where the patterns are getting formed and how your candles are actually telling you the story. So basically that will also give you a real edge to the market understanding and will make you understand of what the zones are getting created. That is also a big part, like because they are involving the candles and the prices movement also. The fourth point is keep chart clean, add 1 2 indicator only for reading price. So now even like put like 2 indicators or maximum 3 indicators last to last, but keep your chart clean so that it will look attractive to you. You will get to understand the zones is the main purpose. So keeping the chart clean will help you to understand. Keeping too many indicators on the chart will end up making you confused, like where the zones are going on. That is the part. Now I come up to the second secret. I hope the first is clear to you. Now, if there is any questions you have during the session, kindly keep on posting us on the questions part. So we'll keep you updated throughout the session. So if you have doubt from secret one, you can keep it on the questions and you can put that down. So we'll proceed ahead. Now, secret 2. So basically, when we talk about secret 2, that is basically a multiple time frame analysis. Basic, I've seen like many traders and many software users who are using software for a really long time and have been into the market. They always look for different multiple time frames. I've always seen the chart will have like 4 charts and that is styled together with different time frames, and they are doing analysis. They saw one chart in maybe like 15 minutes, they will go back and see in the 60 minutes, 75 minutes, and also like daily and weekly. So if you see a minor on the left hand side, I have put in attached an image which gives you an overview. The first chart is of 30 minutes, which is telling me there has been a gap up clearly, and then the price has movement from that direction, and the level is currently at 25,107. And I can see the resistance is directly at 25,142, which I'm expecting is a major zone for Nifty also. So going through that, you can see in 60 minutes time frame, I can get more understanding of what has happened. So there was a gap up and then it fell down directly nicely, and then there was a reversal which started and continued till yesterday session, and it is right now testing the level. So I can see that too also over here in this part, and it is giving me more clarity. When I come to my daily time frame, I can see in the daily time frame that it has consolidated here. It is testing the same levels again over here in the same time frame. So I can mark those levels very easily as this is my support level, this is my resistance level. I can see this is the range where Nifty has been moving from last few days, or you can say for few weeks. Even unless in this is the weekly chart, which gives us a longer time frame view and which tells us understanding more of the part. As you can see, we have seen over here, it consolidated here, it consolidated over here as well. So I can see a good like understanding easily, like where my zones are in 15 minutes, 60 minutes, daily, and in weekly also. So I've concluded all in it, and I've respecting to each of the levels and understanding where my particular chart is going through and what is happening into it. And I can do more deeper analysis because every different time frame will give you a more understanding of what is exactly happening, and through that I can make it more better clarity view of the proceeding further with my trades. So the first point goes with always check higher time frames to confirm the main trend. So always check the higher time frames, as even if you are swing trader, go for weekly time frames, go for monthly time frames to understand what the chart is actually trying to indicate you and tell you about the stock. And if you're going for the intraday, go for 15 minutes and 30 minutes because that could be your major time frames. Going for 3 minutes or like maybe like 5 minutes can give you an understanding of what does happen in the current situation and give you a right signals for the entries, and that can give you a zone for it. But then 15 minutes and 30 minutes tells you a lot of things, and which 3 minutes won't be able to tell. And likewise, a daily time frame will not be able to tell what and weekly candle is trying to tell us throughout the process. So that you can definitely watch out for. Then I come to the second point, which says top-down approach reduce false breakout. So again, similar, as you can see, your false breakout situations come to the downward end. So it ends up being into 0% for you because sorry, for daily time frame, if somewhere I'm getting a breakout sort of zone, but for a weekly time frame, I will get an overview like, yes, okay, यहाँ पे breakout नहीं है फिलहाल, because it is testing that level. I can see the zone. So a bigger time frame will give me an indication of less false breakout zones. Also, the third point aligns with entry time frame with bigger picture. So basically 15 minutes in early, which I told you about, that is the part. The fourth point, now we come down, is trade with the dominant trend, not against it. So wherever your trend is going, agar it is in the upside, so we will obviously look for the upside trend and not go for the downside zone. So when I talk about the zone that is getting created, तो यहाँ पे अगर आप देख रहे हो तो basically there is an upside trend चल रहा है, तो हम वही ट्रेंड को कंटिन्यू करेंगे, हम सिर्फ स्टॉक को बाय करेंगे. We cannot sell at that. We have to respect the trend if we are going aligned with it, and we cannot disrespect the trend, and moreover we have to understand the process with it. Now I will take a minute of yours. If there is any questions, any doubts, you can kindly put into the chat, because we have 7 different secrets that we have to go through with. So we are right now at 2. If there is any doubts, kindly put that into the question tab so we can go through with it. So the poll question over here states is, which of the below option you rely for entries? First option is your indicators. Second option is your price action. The third option is your both equally. So which of the option do you rely the most? Kindly give us your input and do let us know. I hope everyone has answered the poll question. So as I can see, 62 votes has been there, and I really appreciate that everyone right now in the attending the sessions have voted for price action as their 54%. So as I can see that 54% of the attendees majorly look for price action, which is the best part, because yes, definitely there is indicators also which you can rely on, but price action is the main part, which I hopefully everyone has understood by now what we did in the first secret. So we have one more poll which we are going to launch now, which is related to time frame. So which of the time frame that you rely the most? So I'm launching the another poll again. So the question goes with, do you check higher time frame before entering trades? Is it always, sometimes, or rarely you see it? Kindly put down your opinion or select the particular option that you actually go for and do let us know. So that will give us an indication कि आपने first secret or second secret को fully understand कर लिया है कि नहीं. And if you all have understood, that is the answer are sort of going to make us understand with it. Okay, so we've gotten the answer, and in this one I can see that 60% of the attendees are basically using the always option, which says that they are looking for multiple time frames and they are also going with it. So I can understand with the second secret you've understood that part also, Now we'll go ahead with the third secret. So right now we are talking about the secret 3, which is the volume. So when I talk about the volume part, as you can see, this is the third secret, and you can see as much the price action will give you the zone, and price action will make you understand, the volume will also play a huge and important part for your particular analysis of the stock. So if price tells you the emotion of it, but the volume will tell you how many quantities were traded in the last particular zones or last particular time, and that will guide you to understand what has happened in the particular zone. So what I was actually discussing was that in a particular stock, you can see there was no volume for last maybe a month or so, but then there was a huge spike. So you can understand through that particular volume itself that there has been a huge trader might have been involved, or there is something involvement into this particular stock, and I can see a zone could be created for either of the side. So volume is the hidden key, and that actually plays a huge important role in your particular analysis. And by going with the zone, you will understand the volume is the main part that will get you to understand on where the big players were actually trading and where the small traders were actually moving around. So it gives you a good zone to understand. So here the pointers goes with volume, confirm, price moves, shows real market participations. So what is the participation in the particular market? Volume is the one that will actually tell you. Spot accumulation and distribution zones before big move. Like you will actually get to see your volume indicating you or maybe like highlighting you that ki yahan pe bigger move aa raha hai. You can also participate into this, and volume does plays a huge role for you to understand. Use volume to validate breakouts and reversals. So always if there is a breakout and there is a volume, those both aligns and gives you a signal, yes, there is a zone that is creating for the upper side or for the downside. Like that is your zone for it. Then low volume is equals to weak conviction, and high volume is equals to long or strong conviction. So you can see that the volume defines a lot, and it tells you the whole story. With price and volume merging together, you will get a lot of deeper level of understanding. So that is your secret level, secret 3 that we have covered as of now. Moving ahead, we'll go to the secret 4 of us. So secret 4 is talking about market structure over patterns. Your market structures are basically your trends, highs, lows, trends. There is ranges, consolidation zones. Those are your market structure, which gives you a lot of context of what is exactly happening throughout the market. So your structures can be basically in the uptrend zones, low downtrend zones. So that basically tells you a lot of understanding of what has happened. So higher high formations, lower low formations, these are all the inputs which actually gives you the market structure information. Most traders actually jumped straight into the pattern recognitions such as head and shoulder, flat triangles, without checking what the broader market structures is telling them. This is like basically understanding, like you cannot directly jump to understanding what is the patterns that is formed, but you have to recognize what is the structure of the market. Is it an upside, it is in downside, or what the zones are. And market structure is simply the arrangement of swing highs, swing lows. So that is your basic understanding of where is the swing high, swing low. You can spot that pattern and then you can go ahead with it. Then pattern fails without underlying market structure. So like I said, the हम pattern define कर लेंगे और हम pattern को understand कर लेंगे, but हमें पहले देखना पड़ेगा कि market क्या बोल रहा है, क्या structure बना हुआ है, is it higher high formation में कि lower low formation में. So that is your major part. Then the fourth point that we are discussing here is focus on trend strength, like how the trend strength are. So what we had discussed in secret 1, secret 2, and secret 3 was price action, less indicator, and volume. So focusing on all of this, your trend strength कभी पता चलेगा जब price अच्छे से move कर रहा है upper side में, आपको price का understanding आ चुका है. Volume हमें दिखा रहा है कि yes, there is quantities that are getting traded, so there is a zone. And key level first, like pattern formation जैसे हमने डिस्कस किया, support and resistance level आपको किस तरह से फाइंड आउट करना है, I mean किस तरह से आप उसको हाईलाइट करके रख सकते हो. So your boost will itself rise and your confidence will itself rise because you will know the market structure over the patterns. So pattern is the second part, but understanding the market structure is the first part. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you. We'll move ahead with the secret 5 now, that is confusion and basically high probability trades. So what is happening in secret 5 is basically we are understanding like the confusion. So multiple factor lining up with the same level. So basically, when I talk about this particular secret, the fifth one basically, which simply means that there are factor lining with the same place, like the factors that are lining at the same place, and you just have to understand it. Too many traders basically based on the single signal, हमने एक single signal के through फिगर आउट कर दिया है कि यहाँ पे एक हमारा जोन क्रिएट हो चुका है, बट अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट देयर इज सेम सिग्नल्स in different time frames also and multiple signals are coming into that particular stock, I can definitely go ahead. Like only single signal को हम importance नहीं दे सकते. We have to look for different multiple signals as well, because that will give you a right understanding of your market or your trend or basically the whole zone. So an indicator crossing or maybe like an oversold or overbought understanding, candlestick pattern, that can be turned into a risky part. But understanding like your support resistance, like the base part, like price action, Fibonacci ratios, like your retracement and extension level, the alignment of increase in the decrease of your volumes, all of this, like अगर हमारा समझो support level cross कर रहा है and then we are getting into the upper side zone, assuming there is a zone that is created over here, then now we have the volume is also increasing, I can directly draw the FIBO ratios. Now FIBO ratios are always plays a huge role for understanding that. I'll see and I'll guide you in the further part also. So there is FIBO ratio for an example, like pulling back to a key support level. It has came down to a support level, which I was discussing. And at the same point, moving average and a Fibonacci ratio of 61.8, which is in very crucial and is also known as the golden ratio. So your 3 points, your volume, the moving average, the support that line, and the FIBO ratio, all of these 3 have indicated you a signal, and that can be known as the confusion, which is known as the high probability trades. So now the pointers go with the confusion is equals to multiple factors lining in the same part. I hope the first point is actually clear to you. Then the second part is basically combining a support resistance indicator plus price action. That will help you to understand. The more confirmation, the more stronger the setup will go ahead. Then that would be avoid trades based on the single signals only. So एक ही signal पे avoid करो, go for multiple signals and then take a trade. That is the part of fifth of our secret. Okay. Then I'll go ahead with the sixth secret, which is nothing but the breakout versus the fake outs. So every time breakouts we are able to find like कि हाँ यहाँ पे breakout किया, I can expect an upside zone. I mark my next target zone easily. But ended up being वहाँ पे volume नहीं था, वहाँ पे zones ही नहीं था. वो actually जो breakout हमने predict किया था, that was not the right breakout. That was false breakout. So it turned out to be a fake breakout. Not every breakout is real. Many are traps. So always if you are seeing a zone, जैसे हमने I think कुछ महीनों पहले अगर आपने properly निफ्टी का चार्ट फॉलो किया रहेगा तो उसमें ट्रेंड लाइन फॉर्म हुआ था, which I had seen almost in every trader के चार्ट पे कि वही ट्रेंड लाइन सबने फॉर्म करके रखा है, and that is stretching away. That is stretching away and it is not giving a breakout through that trend line. It is still continuing the zones. So you can see that sometimes it would be a zone that has created, we have formed the trend line, but there has not been a breakout that has turned out to be a false breakout, but it continued that direction. So not always a genuine breakout usually shows stronger above move, whereas it turns basically your breakouts will have indications like lot of different like zones can be involved. That can be a volume, that can be somewhere your understanding of previous rest in zones, swing reversal zones, and that can help you to more understand. So the pointers are over here. Not every breakout is real, many are traps. The second point is check for volume plus rest to confirm breakout. Then the third point is avoid clashing, chasing the price. Wait for the right confirmation. मतलब हमने जो price define कर दिया उस पे मतलब chase करना avoid करिए, उसमें confirmation का properly wait करो, then go ahead with it. Okay. I hope the second last secret is clear to you. And as of now, I think everyone is able to hear properly and all is going well. So we'll go ahead with the last secret, which is our seventh one, which is known as the risk mindset are part of technical analysis. Give me a minute. I'll just launch a poll before going ahead because that is related to the last slide which we did actually. So the question is, when you see a breakout, do you usually wait or for the reset? Like, do you usually wait for the reset? If it is yes, if it is no, and depend on the setup. Like आपका जो setup है आप उस पे rely करते हो. So I would request everyone to just answer the poll, which is basically when you see a breakout, do you usually wait for the retest zone or you always follow your setup? Depends on the setup. Okay. So we'll just we've gotten a good amount of answers here. I can see that our users have been in the two situations where some has answered yes and some has answered that they would depend on the setup. So as I can see from what we understood from the previous was the breakouts ke bare mein. So right now, from where I am understanding that some of the users will wait for the retest zones, and some of us will definitely go ahead with the setup that we have. Depends on the setup, like what the setup is also telling us. So that is a good point that you all are including your setup also, but also seeing your retest zone, which is also important because that might retest from that level and then the reversals could happen. So we'll go ahead now with secret 7, which is risk and mindset are part of technical analysis. So very much true. अगर आप देखोगे risk आपका manage करना is also a huge part of understanding the technical analysis, and it's a very big part of technical analysis because managing your risk is the main goal at the end. Like जो आप रीच करोगे लैडर को, वो आपका टेस्टिंग जोन रहता है कि आप किस तरह से आपने मैनेज कर रहे हो इसको, आपने अपने फिल्टर आउट कर दिए रहेंगे स्टॉक्स को कि थ्रू द बेसिस ऑफ understanding technical analysis, but the risk management and the mindset, like what the mindset that you have is a part of technical analysis. So you can have the best chart analysis basically and the perfect entry signals, but you are risking too much on a particular trade. Like I said, with your emotions, stop losses, and your decisions, the setup will end up being a fail because there are emotions involved into this. So your stop losses and managing that particular part, your risk management comes to the bigger part, which will make you from falling into the zone where you are not making the profits, you are just losing out your money, to actually making a profitable zones. So good analysis fails without risk control. Like if you have good analysis but your risk management is not good, it will always end up being a fail because हम वहां पे ही lose कर जाते कि कहाँ पे हमारा zone है. तो if you are managing, if you have taken a trade, तो आपका जो risk and reward ratios defined होता है या फिर आपका stop loss जो defined होता है, एनालाइज दैट पार्ट मोर डीपरली, लाइक कि आप किस तरह से इसको और एग्जीक्यूटली कर सकते हो, लाइक इजीली आप उसको अंडरस्टैंड कर सकते हो, अपना पोजीशंस किस तरह से प्रॉफिटेबल बना सकते हो. So that is what one has to always focus on. Position seizing and the stop loss placements are a part of your setup. Like it is always going to be a part of your setup. Like stop losses is always going to be there. So अगर हम अपना trades profit book कर रहे हो, target zones ये सब कर रहे हो, तो stop loss भी maintain करना जरूरी है, because we cannot always wait for like कि हाँ यहाँ से एक reverse होगा तो that can make turn my profits losses into my profits. That cannot be there. Then keeping your disciplines should be on the top. Like discipline has to be on top. Then the predictions level जो हमारे रह गए. Control your emotions. Like always we go ahead with our emotions and we let the emotions play with our mind. And always कि I can still feel कि ये better रहेगा because my emotions are on the right zone. But I think the stock market teaches you to control your emotions overall. So if your emotions are in your control and you are making the decision, the discipline will always take over your predictions level. So that is the part. The last one is build a trading plan which actually sticks to it. So if when I tell you ki ye follow kar do, but that will end up you might not follow up that part because you will not rely to it. Go today after the webinar, sit down and see your targets where it has always hit it, where your stop loss has always hit it. Make a trading setup ki I can make my risk and reward to this level. I can see this is the zone. I can mark my levels over. So this checklist banao aapka कि किस तरह से आप उसको अपने रिस्क को मैनेज कर सकते हो एंड अपने ट्रेड्स को कैसे प्रॉफिट बना सकते हो. सो एंड अप ऑफ इट इज द 7 secrets that we have done today. The 7th has to end up on risk and mindset are a part of trading analysis because it will help you to take more better trades. That is the part. I hope till now it is clear to you. We'll just launch another poll which is related to risk management. That is the last poll related to the topic that we're going to put, and then uske aage we will go ahead. So what is your biggest trading challenge, whether it is risk management, whether it is overthinking, identifying good setups, controlling emotions, what is it? So I think whatever we have concluded as of now, like कि हमने emotions के बारे में बात कर दिया, risk management के बारे में बात कर दिया, which is the biggest that actually challenges you while you are trading and it overpowers over you. So यहाँ पे वो option select कर लो, whether it is risk management, over trading, identifying good setups and controlling emotions, which is the biggest challenge. So I can see that 44% attendees have already selected. Would request other to also select the poll. So I'll just close the poll right now, where I've gotten the answers where it is saying you all have selected in the range of risk management is the over one of the option which has gotten 30%, and the identifying good setup is the 30%, whereas 24% has been controlling my emotions. So 24% of the people have the emotions which are taking the control, and the last one is over trading, which has gotten 18%. So from where I can see is that in the particular zone जब हम trade कर रहे हैं तो हमारा first जो है कि risk management हमारा सही से नहीं हो पा रहा है, तो I would request कि आप आज जाओ and उसके जब भी आपको time मिलेगा, take your time and sit down and see like how you can manage your risk on the basis of basically creating your risk and reward ratios. First, create your risk and reward ratios and actually identify that this is where I can stick down to it and this is my zone. इसके आगे मैं अगर और जाऊंगा तो I can obviously see a zone, मतलब ended up making a loss और इस तरह से. Then go ahead like filtering out stocks only on the price action basis, because that will make you understand more betterly. So that is the part. Identifying good setup every time. जैसे हमने आज बात किया, setup and indicate like whatever it is. a setup you can find anywhere, but understanding the base of it, your charts, your simply charts, your with volume, that can be your first setup. उसमें आप actually देखो, आप charts को understand करो, candles को देखो, पढ़ो कि क्या है वो exactly. That can be your first good setup. And don't actually go for n number of options, because when you go for n number of options, you will end up being confused because you won't have the right clarity कि मैं ये करूँ कि ये करूँ, because then you would confuse between this is also nice but this is also nice. So avoid that. Use one of it. Start with basics and then do that. Controlling your emotions, and you have to obviously see where your emotions are lagging, and you have to see कि हाँ, if you see कि यहाँ पे और trade हो सकता है, but then see the volume, see what is the reality. And then actually go ahead with it. If you don't see the reality, you will end up making losses, and that will be the part, and where your emotions will always overtake your trade. That would be the part. Then overtrading, do not overtrade as such, like हाँ करे रहोगे overtrade, but I cannot directly say कि आप मत करो overtrade, but see which trade, and are you taking with your full sense or without your full sense, because there are some trades which always we see कि हाँ यहाँ पे तो zone बन रहा है, but it is not right with, because we're not taking with the full sense. Because I've seen with myself and with others that we always go with हाँ यहाँ पे zone बन रहा है, let me go ahead with it, but it's not. Sometimes we have to actually see the reality behind it and not do ahead with it. So that is the part. I think I've concluded secret 7, and the recap अगर आप देख लोगे तो price action first, an indicator जो हमने first किया, price action को ज़्यादा importance दिया. We saw multi time frames where we saw like 4 different charts that can be tiled into your software also. In Spider, you can tile at least 36 charts together. So that would be too much, but tiling 4 base charts would help you to understand. Volume is the hierarchy. Now, volume breakouts जब भी अचानक से हो जाते हैं, then there is definitely a good zones are getting created into that part. That is your third point. Fourth point is market structure over patterns. See the structure. The trends किस तरफ है, rather than going opposite of trend. Sorry. The fifth one is confusion, where we talked about multiple signals rather than the single signal. Then we talked about the breakout and the fake outs. And the last one that we talked about was the risk mindset, like management of your risk. Now we'll go ahead into the software, and यहाँ पे मैं कुछ list down of stocks निकाली हूँ जहाँ पे I've listed like what I've seen, and through this part we'll understand what has happened in like the 7 secrets. Okay. The first was a price action over the indicator. As you can see, the chart is very plain. It has only only price and the volume and not indicator. So यहाँ पे अगर आप देख रहे हो BDL का chart है, which is purely plain, and I can see that the volume has risen, correct, and it has almost given a good breakout from the 10 past days. अगर आप देख सकते हो यहाँ पे almost flatten था, अचानक से volume इधर rise हुआ continuously, and then again we got a huge volume spike which was in the range of 45 lakhs. So you can see a continuation. The candle has also supported us. So you can see here is your first rejection, where can be 1632, because वहां से पहले भी reject किया है, और 1608 you can keep that zone because it has tested that level over here also and here also. Then I can mark my levels over here and here because it has consolidated in this part, and then we got a breakout. I'm so sorry. So this is your BDL chart, which is reflecting to us, and I can see very clearly what has happened in the whole situation. Then we see Bajaj Finance. Now in Bajaj Finance, again, this is a breakout one. अगर आप Bajaj Finance में भी देख रहे होगे, so I've drawn 2 levels, which is at the level of 971 and 878. Now at 878, it was consolidating purely for a period of time. And then at 971, I had created this level because it was taken a rejection, not once, but twice. So here is where we got the breakout, which eventually happened. So by the price action and understanding the time frames, I got to know the levels which was created. If I go for the weekly, now the second time frame, multiple time frame option, I can see more clearly that I've gotten a weekly breakout also. So continuous 2 weeks, but the volume has decreased. So I will mark my levels that the volume has decreased in the second week. So I will keep it more clear for next levels, like how I can see my zone for the third week. I will watch out the stock because there is a zone that is definitely created, because currently this is at the all-time high. If you see by pressing F12 onto your chart, so it's near to that range, and you can see that it is creating your all-time high also. So this is the part where I got to know that it is in the all-time high range, and I can see that it was consolidating for a period of time. Bank Nifty, if I come down, I can see clearly in the daily chart, I had formed a trend line. So it is making lower low formations, and you can see there is a swing also created over here. So again, minding my zone that the Bank Nifty has risen from last 2 days, but also the trend is towards the downward side. So market structure over the patterns, I got to know that it is in the downward side, but I have to also respect like how the zones are getting created. The fourth one, coming to Bank Baroda. Now in Bank Baroda, you can see similar zones that यहाँ पे जो create हो रहा है, basically through your rejections are taking place on the basis of your trend line, where your downside zones are getting created and lower low formations currently are getting formed. So here also you can see that the downward zones is only there, and यहाँ पे trend line sort of formation बना हुआ है. Okay. Then again, when I talk about the Bajaj Finserv, in this we have used Fibonacci ratio, as you can see, and through my level of Fibonacci, I can see that the levels has been broken, and it sort of gave me the zone. So यहाँ पे अगर आप देख रहे हो from the level of 2059 to basically if I see 1910, I had drawn a Fibo ratio, and then I can see a use वही recover किया है. तो swing में से वो recover भी हुआ है, and currently it has crossed the level of 2068 also, from where it has been rejecting few times. Now I can mark my level somewhere around 2135, which it made more clear throughout the zone. So Fibo ratio with breakout and with the next levels that I can keep easily, I can see my volume is also rising. So this is what I can figure it out more betterly. How to draw the levels? Basically, आप easily extension and retracement का use कर सकते हो by E and R, by taking high-low formations, and by swing high and swing low, and that's how the Fibo ratios get created. Okay, this is the basically retracement which only need 2 points, not more than that. Then we have AU Bank. As you can see in AU Bank right now, what has happened, there is a trend line, and if I see in the weekly chart, it will make it more clear. So there was a trend line which also gave us a breakout, but then now it is coming back to that level and then testing the same level. So I can mark the level as there has been a test that has done over here at the same level. I can see if a reversal goes ahead, like if a next candle, following candle gave us a good zone where your upside candle which formed above the high of this, I can see a zone for the upper side could be created. But if there is a rejection, there will be a red candle which will try to come down below the trend line and it will break that level. So this is how easily I saw the charts with the help of only candles and the volumes, which gave me an understanding of what has happened with the 7 knowledges that I had, and I had put it into this. So this has been the examples of today's webinar. I hope the topics that we cleared are very much you are understandable with it, and there is no doubt as such. If you have any doubts, kindly let us know. We'll be there for more 3 minutes, and then we'll wind up the session, or else If you have any doubt, y'all can do let us know on the reference number that I've listed written down over here, which is 8976991601 and the last is the telephone number where you can reach out easily is 02235018383. And if you have any doubt with the mail or anything, you can do let us know on the support either it's fidosoftwareindia.com.